For the first time this season, it is time for a Rapid Reactions Carolina Insider. What's up? We're back. Jones and Adam here with you. The show brought to you by our friends at Modelo. And Adam, game one in the books. Tar Heels get the 86-70 win over Radford. Here coming up in just a second, you'll see and hear from Hubert Davis. Talk to Coach Davis after this win. Adam sat down with Armando Bacot, who had a huge game, 25 points and 13 rebounds. Adam, to me, if you just saw the final score of this game, you might think, ooh, that game was a little bit closer than I wanted it to be. But I think if you saw this game or followed this game, it felt like a pretty impressive performance from Carolina. The Tar Heels weren't great defensively in the first half. That got a lot better in the second half. And outside of a stretch of a couple minutes in the first half offensively where they were turning it over, felt like the Heels were very efficient on that side as well.
Really, if you could just take out those couple minutes.
Just take out that one part of the game.
Where the ball kept getting turned over repeatedly, I think everybody would feel differently about this game. Overall, it feels like this was more about introducing people to the way this team might play, and now the question is how good can they get at playing that way. It's definitely a different way, and Hubert Davis talked about this with you some, than maybe they were accustomed to last year.
Adam, that was something that stood out to me. It's just how dramatically different Carolina looked just in the way it was playing. And you still had some similar pieces, of course, with R.J. Davis, Armando Bacot, Seth Trimble, Jalen Washington, 4 of 10 guys who played 8 or more minutes in this game. But it looked like a different team than what we saw from Carolina pretty consistently a year ago.
I think just more cohesive, more focused on going from good to great offensively, and more focused on, most of the time, trying to communicate defensively. And every single one of those 10 players who came in, I think you could identify and say, okay, this guy, he did this and this, which was helpful, and I could see that helping him earn minutes down the road. Eventually, you're going to have to pare that down somewhat, but it's reassuring to know that that depth is there when you need it, because at some point you will need it.
Okay, let's get to our interviews after the game. I talked to Coach Davis. Adam talked to Armando Bacot. You'll hear and see both of those interviews. Then we'll come back, wrap things up here on a Rapid Reactions edition of the Carolina Insider. 86-70, the final score. Carolina gets the victory over Radford in the season opening win, 19th consecutive year that the Tar Heels have won their season opener. Coach, congratulations, first of all, on the win. And a lot of things that you talked about you wanted to see happen with your team, pushing the pace, better ball movement, better spacing, just all those things. Seems like we saw that tonight. I would imagine that you're pretty pleased.
Yeah, I was. From an offensive standpoint, with the exception of that stretch where we had 6 turnovers, I thought we did a good job of making the easy play and taking care of the basketball and getting the shots that we wanted. We knew that we had an advantage in the paint in terms of post and penetration and offensive rebounds. We wanted to take advantage of that, and Armando did a really good job establishing down low on the block and open up driving lanes for our guards that I feel like can attack the basket and make good decisions when they get there. The only thing that I a little disappointed in is, the first half, from a defensive standpoint, I felt like we were guarding their actions for 25 seconds, and then the last 5 seconds, it was basically one-on-one, and they were really hot and able to score. And I thought in the second half we did a better job locking down defensively, and that allowed us to extend the lead.
Coach, you played 11 guys. 10 of those 11 players played 8 minutes or more. So a lot of guys, and it felt like all 10 of those players did something to help you win the game tonight.
They did. Everybody that played tonight made plays that were impactful for us to win tonight. And, that's one of the things about this group, the versatility, the depth, being able to put different lineups out there. Really is to our advantage on both ends of the floor, and I was really happy with the production off the bench, and I just felt like everybody came in with energy and life, and I felt like we wore them down. We just kept bringing in fresh guys, and by the second half it was really tough. Those shots that they were making in the first half, they were hitting the front of the rim in the second half.
You were frustrated, I think it's okay to say, last year with your lack of assists as a team. Carolina,
18.
Yeah, and had 18 tonight.
Yeah, and we missed some. We could have easily had over 20, but this group, it's it's just natural to not only pass, but to go from good to great. This team enjoys celebrating the success of their teammates. They love to pass the basketball. It's a very unselfish group. They find joy in passing, and you can see guys are more excited when they pass the ball as opposed to them making a shot. And so it's something that this group has done from the start, and that's one of the many things that I like about this team.
Last thing, Coach, a word that's been said a lot around Carolina this preseason has been fun. You said it's fun to coach them. They have fun playing.
Watching them shoot 50% from the field in the first half, but other than that, it's a fun group, but it's a group full of joy. And I tell them all the time, there's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is stuff that's happening to you, and that's great. But joyfulness is a thankfulness and appreciation of where you are, what you're doing, and where you're doing it at. And this group understands the importance of how much they love basketball, how much they love being here, and how much they love doing this together.
Certainly a fun night in the Smith Center tonight. Carolina pulls away from Radford, 86-70, the final score this evening. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Great to see you again, and looking forward to the year.
Yeah, I thought you were ignoring me, and now you're back. Okay, it's great.
And happy to be back. And
Coach Brown, I'd like to see you a little bit. Okay.
We'll do it. Got a bunch. Hey, we got football and basketball coming up. What a great couple days we got. Looking forward to it. And Dave, certainly a happy night in the Smith Center tonight. Heels win 86-70.
Alongside Armando Bacot, after Carolina beats Radford in the season opener, Mondo goes for 25 and 13. Mondo, another double-double. First one of this season, of course. What was working, especially early on in the second half there, where it felt like you were just getting what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Davis from the beginning, just going into this game, he made an emphasis on trying to get inside. They had a few big guys out, and we knew we could dominate points in the paint through post penetration and offensive rebounds, and that was the emphasis all week. So I knew coming in I had to really insert myself, especially early, starting off with that play where I got the dunk. And after that, I knew it was going to be a good night.
Early on, some of those attempts to go inside were resulting in too many turnovers. I think 8 in the first half. What was the message at halftime about a more efficient way to get the ball to you inside?
Just really do everything under control. I mean, obviously, like I said, Coach, he put an emphasis on getting the ball in the paint, but also he wants us to play smart and take care of the ball. I think just in the second half, we kind of settled in. It was that first game, and the first half of the first game, we all were tired, super excited and amped up, and we just settled in the second half, and we knew we would wear them down. They made a lot of tough twos in the first half, and second half we held them to, under 35%, so we just followed the game plan and it worked.
What was different defensively in the second half, holding them to 35%?
Yeah, I think we just locked in more. We did a better job of contesting on those mid-range shots in the ice, and I think us bigs at half, Coach told us we needed to do a better job of protecting the rim, and I think that's what we did.
You got the 25 and 13 in just 29 minutes. What's the difference in being able to maybe just play 29 or 30 versus playing 39 or 40?
It's great. We got so many talented guys this year, and I think just in order for us to be a great team, especially later on in the season, we need a lot of guys to step up. Jay Wash, he had a great game today, and he showed that he's ready. And, James, he'll stay ready, and we got all guys all over. And I think just this being the first game and everybody getting a chance to play and get some type of experience is definitely encouraging. And we got a good team with Lehigh coming up next on Sunday, so we just got to stay ready.
You look a little different. What have you been working on this summer, and how did that feel different out on the court?
Yeah, I cut down a lot. I'm down to 235, so that was great. Last year I played at 245, a little bit 250. So just wanted to put an emphasis on that so I can stay healthy and just last more throughout the season. But, I will say I probably was more tired in this first half this season versus last first half. So I guess just got to get used to it. But, I felt great running and jumping, and everything felt good.
What'd you do differently to get from 245, 250 to 235?
I think just got away from the protein. I was eating a lot of protein, trying to get beefy and bulky, but just try to just stand out a little bit more but keep my strength.
Want to know, what can this team do better, as you said, looking towards Lehigh on Sunday?
Just communicate better. I think a lot of times on the ball screen, especially early on, I had a few miscommunications, Jay Wash, and us bigs got to do a better job of communicating with the guards, but also the guards and switching and doing those things. But, I think as we play more and more, we'll just get used to it. When
you have so many new pieces, what are the key parts of figuring out the way that everybody communicates when you're out there and everybody's screaming?
Yeah, I think only time will tell. We just got to keep getting more and more experience, and I think we're starting to trust each other even more. We did a good job of helping each other. Nobody was worried about our man. We was worried about the whole team, and I think that was very good.
That's Armando Bacot. If he gets any more experience, they might rename the building after him. He's got more experience than anybody out there. Carolina beats Radford. Mondo, another double-double. Mondo, thank you.
25 points and 13 rebounds for Armando Bacot. Adam, at times, as you would expect, he was dominant in this game. And the thing that stood out to me was Carolina was very purposeful in trying to get him the ball. And a lot of time, even on the very first play of the game, did so in a way that gave him some easy opportunities to score.
And then came back and what felt like, remember how Roy Williams teams sometimes would do that coming out at a halftime and you could tell immediately exactly what they had talked about? That looked like what Hubert Davis had talked about. Guys, Armando Bacot's bigger and better than anybody Radford has. Throw him the ball. And that's what Carolina did. And not coincidentally, they stretched the lead out and got it to a point where they were able to coast for part of the second half.
And saw that nice pass there from Cadeau, dropping it off to Armando Bacot. And Armando also doing his normal thing on the offensive glass where he had 5 offensive rebounds and mixing a little defense there too, swatting that one away. Adam, speaking of Cadeau, he had 6 assists, and Carolina as a team had 18 assists. They only averaged 12 a game last year. 18 is better than 12.
And as Hubert Davis said with you, that's with missing some also.
Yeah.
That 18 number could have been 22 or 23. Always looking to make that pass. It didn't feel like, again, not to harp on last year, but you know how the last couple of years there's occasionally been times where a shot goes up and you just think, ugh, probably could have gotten better than that. There weren't many of those tonight. I think most times, whether the shot went in or didn't go in, you felt like a pretty good look at the basket right there. And that's a way to eventually have sustained success.
Yeah, Carolina wins by 16 on a night where they shoot just 7 of 20 from three-point range. Cormac Ryan, 3 of 7, R.J. Davis, 1 of 5. And so I think those guys are going to probably shoot a little bit better than that. Certainly Davis, 1 of 5. Expect that number to be better as the year moves along. So Heels move to 1-0. 2 more home games before the trip to the Bahamas. They have Lehigh coming up Sunday at 2 o'clock, and then UC Riverside the Friday after that. So 2 more opportunities in the Smith Center before Carolina's schedule really ramps up pretty dramatically as far as quality of competition. But Adam, all in all, quality night in the Smith Center. Tar Heels get a 16-point win.
It was a fun team to watch play.
Yeah.
Which I think is a step in the right direction, and you saw enough to make you think not only could they be fun to watch, they could be successful to watch.
All right, we'll be with you after every home game this year for our Modelo Rapid Reactions edition of the Carolina Insider.